Congratulate NC State. What a game. Two even teams and absolutely competed till the end. I don't know what happened in the end. Somebody said they tried to plant their flag on our field, and I had said 2 years ago that was disrespectful. I'd said all week you need to compete, but you need to do it with composure. So it's another learning experience that you can't fight, but you got to win the game. And kids have pride. And it's been a hard week for these kids. They lose their coach on Tuesday. And in modern day landscape, that means that you've got an agent, you've got transfer portal, you got people calling you. And I'm absolutely amazed that they were able to compete like they did tonight and play as hard as they did with all the pressure on them and with the uncertainty in their future. So I'm really, really proud of them. Wish we'd won the game. Their freshman quarterback made some really good plays down the stretch. Our guys made plays down the stretch. The one turnover hurt us, obviously. It was a 10-yard touchdown. But again, it's a great game from two rivals like it should be. And that's the way you'd like to see this game played, where both compete like they do. I'll comment a little bit on the transition this week. I agree with the administration that we need a change of leadership at the top. I just wanted it to happen after the season was over. These poor kids have had so much turmoil in their lives. And I think the administration's into finding a football coach, and I'm into saving lives and making sure that they're healthy, making sure that they're mentally healthy. And when you have a 4-game losing streak, that's hard for kids. They're not used to that. Especially here, we hadn't had that happen. And then especially with a sick young guy. So you got a 4-game losing streak, and then you lose one of your best friends that you've watched die at 23 years old. So I wasn't thinking about me. I wasn't thinking about my future. I was thinking about what's best for these young people. And that was what our whole staff did. And I was so proud that they came back and gathered themselves and were able to beat Virginia on the road, which is hard to do here. Then they were able to beat Florida State on the road. And then they were able to beat Wake Forest. So again, there shouldn't be any talk about me because it was all about them. And they finally had something positive happen during their season. So I didn't want to sit around and talk about leaving when they're finally getting some things happening and moving in a positive direction. And that's really, really important as you go forward because you sure didn't want to be a distraction. And that's when you're 73, everybody asks you every day if you're going to quit or ever ask you. And you all were so respectful not to ask if I was going to get fired and was I going to quit every day. Because the answer is what I said for 6 years, is that I'll wait till the end of the year. I don't want to talk about not coaching while I'm coaching. And at the end of the year, we'd make a decision. As far as the he said, she said, and what you'd call the source close to the university for a few of you. I don't need any of that. There were 3 people that talked about this, and it was me and John Pryor, who's our chairman of the Board of Trustees, and Athletics Director Cunningham. I never talked to the chancellor, didn't have one conversation with him. So, and all I wanted to do was wait till the end of the year. And they wanted me to retire on Monday before the state game. We hadn't beaten state. It was really important for these kids to play well tonight and have a chance to win. I didn't want to break their hearts on Monday. So I said, no, I won't do that. And then they wanted me to do it on Friday. Well, I sure wasn't going to do it Friday before the game. You're 24 hours from a game and you're disrupting their entire lives and coaches, because 71 people in this building have a different situation than they had last week. So I felt like that the thing I said is I'll talk to you tonight after the game about it, or I'll talk to you Sunday morning. And I don't know what the difference in Monday and Saturday night would have been. But I don't want to get into, like I said, the he said, she said, sources. I don't have to have sources close. I got Mr. Pryor that knows exactly what I said. So I'm good with it. And really it doesn't matter. After James Madison, we played awful. And then they started looking for coaches, and they should have. I felt like we probably couldn't overcome that, but my job is to take care of those kids. That's my job. Those seniors don't have another year, so I'm not going to quit on those seniors and not give them an opportunity to have a chance to move forward. I've spent 16 years at this place out of my 36 as a head coach. I love the state of North Carolina. We love the mountains, we love the beach, we love Chapel Hill. The university has been a huge part of my life. And we have unbelievable friends here. We've got lifetime friends here. And that will never change. And when you spend, most people don't ever get to be a head coach. When you spend 16 years here, that's most of your life when you think about it. So I've loved my time. I want to thank the players, the staff, and the coaches. I want to thank the fans and thank my friends, because there's just so many here that have done so much for us and that I just love seeing. I want to thank Athletics Director Cunningham for bringing me here in your late 60s. A lot of people wouldn't have done that. I didn't realize that it would get to be a hassle. I thought we'd probably stay 3 to 5 years, and then we were having fun and helping the kids and start winning some games, and it was all good. But as I said, Sally and I both agree that it was time for leadership change at the top. I was just disappointed in the way it was done. We could have had a joint press conference, and I could have stayed, and we could have worked all this out where I worked here for a while. But that didn't happen. And I think the other thing I want to do is I want to thank the Board of Trustees. They were so involved, and especially Mr. Pryor and Jen Evans and Tez Walker being eligible. And that changed his life. He's playing pro football right now. If he'd stayed here and gotten hurt, he might not have graduated because he was going through some depression issues, but he sure wouldn't play pro football. So I thank the trustees for that. And David Bullock was also very, very involved. Josh Stein, our governor, I'm not sure we could have even gotten it done without him, because he stood up and it changed when he got involved. And he didn't even know the young man, but he knew for our state it was the right thing to do. And also, I'm a little worried about us going forward with administrators across the country, because I'm not sure we're getting more like pro football. And we had the best academics in the conference. We had the third best academics in the country, and nobody even mentioned it except for Mr. Pryor, and he brought the academic staff, who is wonderful, over to the trustees meeting and set them down. When I worked for ESPN, Lee Fitting was one of my bosses, and I love Lee. And he always said, don't call them student athletes. They're not. They're not. And I'm afraid that's getting to be true. And I told the players that. I said, we do care. And we do care that you go to school and you do everything right. But it doesn't seem to be as important moving forward as it once was. As far as the new coach is concerned, I will get out of the way for sure. That's why I'm not going to coach in the bowl game. When I took the job at Texas, and I'm not mad. You can see I'm disappointed in the game tonight, but I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I think it's time to go. I always said for God to tell me when it's time to go, and oh my gosh, this year I've gotten a bunch of answers. And tonight just piled on. So I said, I got it, God. I've had enough, man. I hear you with what we're doing moving forward. But what a wonderful life I've had. What a wonderful career I've had. And I'm leaving it better than I found it. And then when I got the job at Texas, I walked in the office with DeLoss Dodds, who was the athletics director, in the football office, and John Makovic was sitting there, who was the coach. He'd just let go, and he was cleaning out his desk. And that was really awkward. So my desk is cleaned out. I've learned. My phone's turned in. My keys are turned in. So I've got one more official duty, and that'll be for the senior dinner tomorrow night. And I'll hug up these seniors who have been through a lot. And Sally and I'll host them tomorrow night at 6, and then move forward with it. I'm sure, I told the kids, I'm sure they'll get a great coach. He'll have a better situation than we did with NIL because of revenue sharing. We had about $4 million. He's going to have at least 12. So that'll be 3-4 times much more money for the kids. So that should really help them. People have asked about transfers. We signed 26 kids 2 years ago, and not one of them got a penny. So all of them came out of high school here because they wanted to be here. So I don't see them transferring. Now, the money's different. We lost 3 or 4 recruits at the end this year, just in the last 2 or 3 weeks because they got paid. And we asked them and they said, I got paid. So, I got it. And that's the other reason that I think it's a great time for me to get out. This isn't the game that I signed up for. It has changed so much. If you think, since I've been here in 6 years, we went through COVID, which was very difficult for all of us. And trying to coach a football team when you don't even know if you're going to have one, and then you couldn't touch a football, and then you couldn't sit in a room together, and you couldn't meet together, and we go to the Orange Bowl. So I'm really, really proud of that, and proud of the way the kids handle it, because you take negatives and turn them into positives. And then we were recruiting really, really well till NIL came in, and we've really dropped off with our recruiting. And then transfer portal's not something that most of the academic schools are excited about because it's hard to get in. So right now, I think it's a wonderful time for somebody else to come in and take over. And like I said, we're leaving it better than we found it. We've got wonderful kids. It's a good roster. There's some things they'll need to do in the portal. And I'm sure as the administrators, we're looking for a coach. They're worried signing days moved up, and the portal's coming pretty soon. So I get all that. I understand that they had to start looking, and it's funny, I know so many agents and coaches, they'd all call me and said, they're looking for coaches. And I'd say, yeah, I got that. I know that. So I'm not foolish. I knew that probably wouldn't be there at the end. And my next chapter, Sally and I don't know what we're going to do. We've already had some opportunities this week to do different things. So we're not sure where we'll live, and we're not sure what we'll do. I remember at Texas when I got through, I looked up that day and said, I don't have anything to do the rest of my life. And I've been having stuff to do all day, every day. So it really, really is different. But I think, as I said, again, I agree with the administration that we should have new leadership. I've had enough. I'm excited about my next step, and want to truly get out of the way so they can hire a great coach and keep moving forward for these kids and these fans. I can't have all these friends here and can't love these kids and not want North Carolina to be really, really good as we move forward. Can't read some of my notes. Well, I think the biggest thing is that I want to appreciate you all too and say thank you. Like I said, I've got friends in this room. I was in your business for 5 years. But I think the biggest thing is that you all are so respectful. You're very professional. When I've met with you, you've asked me questions and allowed me to answer them. And Chip's grown up a lot. He's a lot better than he was when I was here before. When he was a young guy, he's like, I was probably worse too, Chip, as a young guy. And we need to start talking about when you're retiring, because you're getting older and a lot of people are asking. And you got to be careful with what you say too, by the way, because they'll take that and make it bigger than life as you go through. And again, I understand the change. I agree with the change in leadership. I was a little disappointed in the way it was handled, and that was the only thing. Nothing else from that standpoint. And what I'm going to do in respect of the administration at the University of North Carolina, because like I said, there's only 3 people that know what were said. And I know John Pryor and I are on the same page. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know what anybody else is saying, but this should be through. They made a decision. They wanted to change. I agree with it. I didn't agree with the way it was done. That's simple. It's minor. But you all should start talking about who the new coach is and not whether this was good or not in the past. So. But in respect to the University of North Carolina, I'm not going to answer questions tonight for the first time in my life because we would have, it wouldn't be fair to the administration for me to answer questions without them sitting here to answer them as well. So love you, appreciate you. Don't call me. You won't be able to find me. I'll be somewhere playing golf or fishing, but I really appreciate all you've done, and appreciate the kids, and sorry that we lost the game. So, Jeremy?
Ready.
Thank you all.